Okay, hello, this is Wmpyr. Recently, just started watching this TV show. I believe it is considered a reality TV show, and it's called I Was Prey. It's a TV series from 2017, and basically, what it's about is real life accounts of people that were attacked by some type of animal, like in the wilderness. And a lot of them seem to be shark attacks, um, alligator, crocodile attacks, and then also bear attacks, I have to say, is probably the most common. But there are some other ones that I did not expect, such as snake, moose, and what else was there? Oh, sea lion. Yeah. Um, Man, it is an intense show, and to be honest, it's tapped me out. I tap. I I'm not sure what episode I'm at, but I don't think I could watch anymore. It's too much for me. Um, the attack itself, the way they describe it, is brutal, gory, but the part that really taps me out is the aftermath. When they are in the hospital and recovering, um, yeah, that's really the part that taps me out. The battle after the battle. The battle itself is horrendous. Like I cannot imagine what it's like to be munched on by something that could just lift up my body like a rag doll, and then it's just treating me like I am a meal where it's just eating. It's just doing its business, right? I just can't imagine that. Um, so from a martial arts perspective, a lot of times the awareness is not enough here because the animal's awareness is superior. By the time you notice them, it's like too late. There was one lady that she was smart and she had her dogs with her. Um, However, by the time she noticed a presence and she turned around and there was a bear and they locked eyes, literally like 2 seconds later, the bear was on her. So you really you don't have enough time. And a lot of these other ones, especially like with the shark attacks, people they don't even realize until all of a sudden there was this pain. So it's kind of incredible that there are almost like psychic type of things where you have a gut feeling and you go, something's not right. I feel like there's something watching me. Or it could even be something like the mom says, "Don't go out today." So that's kind of like your first flag, red flag right there. And if you constantly listen to those all the time, you probably won't be able to do a lot of things. But I think they're also good to pay attention to and hone those, you know. I believe that there's a lot of police officers that do listen to their gut feelings. So, anyway, that's number one. Number two, by the time you're attacked by these things, um, you're not going to win this fight. It's very, very rare in these. Of course, I mean, these are massive animals attacking people, and people a lot of times punch these things. they fight back, and it's natural. It's natural for you to fight back, but we're not we're not built for that. So you just, I think, end up hurting your hand, and you're just letting the animal know that, oh, it needs to do a better job of dismantling you. So I don't think that's the way to do it. I 100% believe you need to fight back, but it needs to be calculated, because if not, you're just turning your hand into hamburger. And like, you know, if you've done martial arts training, you've done full contact, you've hit the punching bag, really, you could hit a person as hard as you can. And I have many times. I've hit a person as with everything I had, and they were fine. Sure, they could have been a little bigger than me or a lot bigger than me, but when we're talking about a shark, an alligator is even worse, because the skin's going to be even tougher. Like freaking armor, really. A bear, punching a 400-pound bear or 500, 600-pound animal is literally, like I said, I've hit a person with everything I got and it didn't faze them. Something that's twice as big, nothing. So punching is the wrong idea, but everybody does it. I think when you do that, it's more so for you to have the mentality, I need to survive, I need to fight, but the physical actions is not good. Like I said, you just end up hurting your hand. So what seems to be one case was one person just completely started to give up. And this seems to happen quite a bit, where people, they fight with everything they got and they lose that. They lose that fight. The animal is too much, right? And then your brain starts to go, look, you almost start to hallucinate. And during my fight training, I know that we don't want to hallucinate, because if I start thinking like this, I start imagining things that are kind of irrelevant. And during this time, I'm getting beaten, right? Where I should be thinking more strategically, what do I need to do right now? Rather than, this guy's really beating me up. What if I die? What if I end up in the hospital? What are my students going to think? What are my parents going to think? What about my family? Are they going to be disappointed? These are all irrelevant to the fight. So you should be thinking strategically. But what I notice in all these stories of animal attacks, people fight, and then they get to the point where the animal is so dominant, they almost just surrender and give up, and then they start imagining these things, and from this imagination, inner strength comes out, and they get a second wind. Okay, that's all great and everything, but I think you could cut to the chase and not like save that for later. So I think it's better if you just don't fight wild, because you're going to lose. If you brawl against this animal, chances are you're going to lose, unless it's smaller. But if it's way bigger than you, and unless it never really meant to really attack you, then it's there for business. So then the best bet seems to be like the eyes, possibly the snout, because it has a lot of nerves, like with sharks. I don't know about bears, but they have to have a lot of nerves there. for smelling and stuff, but maybe you could damage the nostrils, damage the gills when it's a shark, attack the eyes. This one dude talked about with a shark, there's a protective membrane over the eyeball, so you have to move that to the side and then go directly to the eyes because it's like it has a shield. Um, but otherwise, just punching it as hard as you can is just, yeah, you're just gonna hurt yourself. Um, Faking dead actually worked for one person, but this is after he is in the mouth of the alligator, and the alligator was like, "Oh, I got him. He's pretty much done. So now I'm gonna put him where I could eat him later. So I won the battle. I'm gonna store him, kind of thing." And that's when he said he got closer to shore, and he was able to uh, fight back at that point. And did he? I think he attacked the eyes. He attacked the eyes. It briefly let go, and then his brother, I believe, was helping him because by that time they were back up on shore or close to it, so they were able to help him. And I think the brother's wife was helping with. She was stabbing the alligator, I think, in the eye with something. So yeah, doing something like that is once again, you got to go with the very sensitive areas like the eyes. And other than the eyes, maybe nostril once again. Yeah, you could with an animal, you could probably rip off their ear and they're not going to care. Um, yeah, I can't really think of much else. And you really have to get away. And the other thing is you need external help. So if you're going out in the wild, it seems crazy not to have bear spray. Um, and I would want to have a bunch of dogs with me. And I would watch them. So when I went to the Bahamas on vacation one time, I got in the water because it was one of those like snorkeling type trips, and got in the water. And I remember I was like, "There's a lot of fish here. I'm gonna watch the fish very, very closely. So if I see the fish run away, that means something's here. So that's when I'm gonna leave." I didn't expect the locals to jump in and save me at that point. And, am I worth them some rich tourist that's probably snotty compared to their standards, that's arrogant, compared to their standards? Are they going to risk their life to save me? I don't expect it. If they did, they're a wonderful human being, but I won't expect it. So, I was going to save myself, right? I didn't want a barracuda or some kind of shark attack or even a stingray or a moray eel. But by the way, I did see a moray eel, not on that one, but on a different trip. Saw a moray eel in the Bahamas, and it was massive. It was massive, and it was maybe about I want to say like 5 feet below me, but it was probably a lot more than that. It could have been like close to 10 feet below me. Kind of hard to. I'm not super used to the ocean, so I can't gauge the distance or the size. And maybe it looked a lot bigger than it really was, but it looked massive. Um, so anyway, yeah, it's just made me think of some things. Oh, one last thing. This guy with a snake, he decapitated the snake with like a shovel, I think, and the head was off, maybe possibly connected by skin, but it was off, right? He grabbed the tail of the snake to show his children, and the head instinctively just went to bite And so even though it was decapitated, it jumped up and bit him, and that's all it took. He was about to die. The venom was in and everything. They had to rush him to the hospital. He was very lucky to survive that. He was on anti-venom for like 3 days straight. They said they had never pumped that much anti-venom in a person before. And yeah, so this, wow, we don't stand a chance in a direct one-on-one combat against an animal. It's just, even like the smallest animals are, they could kick our butts, you know what I mean? So that's why we have weapons and we have numbers, and we can pre-plan. We make stuff, we can make traps, and we can make superior weapons. This is our advantage. But just raw, hand to hand, there's no there's no way. I mean, even a squirrel I wouldn't want to mess with. If that thing climbed up my torso, I would be in a bloody mess. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.